This is Monday with the Mayor on 18 WJTS, and actually we should say it's Monday with the Manager, as we're in Ferdinand talking with Town Manager Chris James. Chris, it's always good to find out what's happening in cities in a positive way, and today we're going to talk about some things that are going on in the town of Ferdinand.
Yes.
One some people may see as a negative thing because it's a rate increase on water, but then there's also some built in to give you some future proofing, I guess, in a way.
Yes.
So at the last city council meeting, it was discussed that water rate's going to go up. Can you go into that, please?
Yes. About a year ago, we actually did an increase on our water rates. It had been 9 years between increases, and we had basically drained the piggy bank with a couple of projects that weren't on the 5-year plan when we did the previous rate increase. That was put into place just to try to build our coffers up a little bit. This past fall, we kind of had two events come together that triggered this new increase. First off, Patoka Water came to us and said, for the first time in about a decade, we're raising our water rates that we sell to the communities. And it's not just Ferdinand. Anybody who has Patoka Water is going to get an increase. So we thought, okay, that comes into play. About a month later, our engineers came in and let us know the status of our water towers in town. We have one on the industrial bypass, and then we have our standpipe, which is up in the wooded area by the Sisters of St. Benedict. That's the older of the two and the one that will need repair and refurbishment first. The price tag just to do one of those is in the low 6 figures. That's in a best case scenario, just sandblast it down, touch it up here and there, repaint it. It is not an inexpensive endeavor. Council, when we did the initial rate increase a year ago, had their eye on probably a second boost 2 to 3 years down the road. That timetable sped up once the water tower information was presented to us, because that's something that you don't pay it off like a car loan where you pay so much at a time. The crew comes in, they do the work, they may break it down in 2 or 3 invoices, but you're paying that amount in a very short period of time. Right now, financially speaking, we don't necessarily have that much money available in the water account to do that. So we're taking some action to possibly work with another group to let us kind of ease the impact financially. But until then, council felt it was best to do the increase now. It works out to about $8 a month for a 4,000 gallon a month user. So most of your basic residential users will see about an $8 a month increase. $250 of that covers the increase on our Patoka water charge. The other $550 is the water tower portion of the rate increase. I'll describe it as such. It could go to any project, but the water tower probably the first beneficiary of that. So that's where we are right now. It was introduced at our last council meeting. At the February meeting, we'll discuss it again. There'll be a public hearing. So if Joe Public wishes to come in, he or she, and say their piece. I don't like it, it's too much, or I think you guys are doing a fine job, or some variance in between. That's their time to speak on it. Depending on the public commentary or lack thereof, council could decide, okay, we pass it and it moves forward. I guess if there would be enough comment on it, they could review it and then modify and then bring it back up at a March meeting. But right now, as it stands at the February council meeting, it will be put into effect, and then that'll, I think, apply to the April billing cycle. There's about a month lag in there, so probably the April bills is where that would be seen.
That's when people start seeing an increase.
Yes.
When does the Patoka rate go up?
The Patoka increase will affect the town effective March 1.
Okay.
So there will be a little bit of a bump there, a little earlier than the rest of it, but in the next couple of months, March, April range is when everything would kick into effect.
Are you looking to do, I guess, repair both water towers, or is this increase to be able to cover the one?
Well, the increase will go toward both,
Okay.
but we're fortunate we don't have to do both at the same time. The standpipe is the one that needs the more immediate attention.
And that's the one by the chapel,
Yes.
right up on the hill,
Yes.
on the convent property.
Yes,
which has
that's
been
the
there when I was a kid. So you know it's been there a long time.
It's old, and it's served its purpose well. Water towers, just because they're out in the open, no matter how well they're painted or what you paint them with, eventually Mother Nature wears them down. Sometimes, depending on the tank, you can get away with just some spot treatment on it and you're good, but they recommend a repainting probably every 15 years, and that's painted on the inside and outside. So that means they have to drain the water down, come in, they'll sandblast the outside of it, they'll blast off the inside, repair any weld seams, anything that needs attention, they'll take care of all of that. Because that is older and some of the material on it is not what is used in the industry today, they'll actually have to put a tent over it to keep debris from blowing away. Kind of similar to how when they painted the Blue Bridge at Maltersville, they put the tent on it, mainly keep the paint off passing vehicles, but to keep it out of the atmosphere. So that they'll have to do that as well.
Will residents notice a difference in their water pressure, or will that not even, because you've got two towers?
It shouldn't affect it very much because we have the two. We'll be able, and it's not like it'll be a last minute changeover. We will have to plan to do it and then transition over. The newer tank on the industrial bypass, that was only painted, I believe, about 6 or so years ago, just prior to when I came on as town manager. So we have a little bit longer window before that one will have to be taken care of. So we can kind of stagger the impact on it. But once that comes, it'll still be a 6-figure price tag for that work as well.
When would that work start? I mean, are we looking a year down the road? Are we looking 6 months?
I would think in a year's time, depending on the financial part of it. We are looking, town council president, our water superintendent, and clerk treasurer and I had a meeting with an individual from a water consultant firm that is all they do is the maintenance and upkeep of water towers. They actually represent Patoka's water towers and many communities in the area, and they have a program designed that it would eliminate the immediate impact and spread the hit out over a period of years. And then if you stay with the program long enough, you're actually paying for your next paint job. They actually build it in as 2, the one right now and then another one in a 15-year time. But it allows you to build your finances up and, in a sense, pay for it ahead of time. So we're looking at that. They're going to be doing an inspection of our tanks and crunch actual numbers and then make a presentation to us and say, we've looked at yours, here's what it would actually cost Ferdinand. And then council will decide that's a great idea, or it's about the same, we'll figure out what we're going to do. So we've got some things in play that could actually mitigate a little bit of the immediate hit. I mean, we're still going to be paying a chunk of money to get things done, but not necessarily the one big hit, but spread it out over a period of years.
Now let's move on to another utility work that's being done.
Yes.
We were talking water. Now let's talk electric. You have substations that are, some work's going to be done there.
Yes. About a year ago, it came to before the council just doing some regular maintenance work of the older substation, which is about 65 to 70 years of age. It has probably surpassed its lifespan. And to continue maintenance on it would almost be non-cost effective. It'd kind of like, do I put a new engine in my old car, or do I just go ahead and get a new vehicle? It's sometimes cheaper to get the new one. In this case, with the substation, the old one, it wasn't a matter of if we'll have a failure that would cause a power outage, but when. And nobody's crystal ball is clear enough to show on day X it's going to happen, so we can prepare for it. It could literally be the next night. So council decided to move forward on getting a new substation put in. It's a multiple process. The 2 substations we have currently are not compatible electric-wise. So we can't just flip a switch to do work on one substation and let the town run off the other. They're run on 2 different voltages, so you can't flip that switch. So when we do work on one, whatever area it serves is actually off power. Right now we have, I guess, phase one of the project, we have what they call a step-down transformer. We have transferred the old substation to it. So the old sub is kind of sitting there waiting to be renovated and made new again. The new sub, the step-down unit, is allowing that to happen. Once the new substation is constructed, we will have that switch capability. So if we need to do maintenance work on one sub or the other, we can flip the switch. Nobody goes without power. We're able to keep the whole town under electric and not have my part of town be out and another area be on. It'll all be on, and that'll obviously benefit us long down the line. So.
And you talk about two substations. I can remember the one old substation down at the Fifth Street Park.
Yes.
Down in that area. That's you told me that's where the other.
They're both in that.
They're both right there
on that same footprint.
Okay.
If you drive down and look at it, you wouldn't necessarily think that it's two, but it is.
And right now they're two uncompatible.
Yes.
So one's going to, okay.
The newer one runs on one voltage, the old one ran on a different one. Neither one is bad, it's just how they were installed. And right now, if one sub needed work, the portion of town that that it covers would be out of power for that work to be done, then it's powered back up. Once the new one comes in, we can flip a switch or run a toggle, however they'll actually do the magic. If we need to service one, the other one can take the load and still cover the whole town. So no unnecessary outages.
All right, well, good luck with your utility work here in the town of Ferdinand.
Yes, we're keeping things hopping.
This has been Monday with the Managers. We've been talking with Chris James, the town manager of Ferdinand, talking about utilities, both water and electric. Thank you for joining us for Monday with the Mayor. News continues on WJTS.